We're diving straight into the explosive and honestly, kind of confusing world of OpenAI models.
So this is the question on everyone's mind. The AI world is just buzzing with these incredibly powerful open models coming from places like Meta, Mistral, and DeepSeek. But trying to figure out which one to actually use, it can feel impossible. Everybody just wants to know which one is the best.
The simple truth is, there is no single best model. The right model for you depends entirely on what you're trying to build, what kind of hardware you have access to, and frankly, the legal fine print you're willing to live with.
So, to choose the right model, we need to understand what open actually means in AI today. It's not nearly as simple as you think.
You see, the term open source has pretty much become a marketing battleground. All these companies know that label attracts developers, so they slap it on things even when there are some serious strings attached.
On one side, you've got your truly open source models. Think permissive licenses like Apache 2.0 that give you maximum freedom. But on the other side, you have these incredibly powerful models that come with custom licenses. They might have rules, for example, that say you need a special commercial deal if your app suddenly blows up and gets super popular.
So here they are, the key contenders shaping the entire landscape right now. You've got Meta's Llama series, that's the big general-purpose powerhouse. Then there's Mistral AI, which is really all about efficiency. DeepSeek AI brings us the specialized champions for coding and reasoning. You've got Alibaba's Qwen series, which is this super versatile multilingual workhorse. And finally, Google's Gemma family, which are kind of the lightweight cousins built from their Gemini tech.
All right, we know the players. Now let's put them to the test. We're going to throw them into the performance gauntlet and see how they really stack up across 3 key areas.
First up, can it chat? The chatbot arena is amazing. It ranks models based on thousands of blind head-to-head battles where humans pick the winner. And the results are just, wow. The top open models like DeepSeek R1 and the massive Llama 3.1 are so good now that a lot of the time, users literally can't tell the difference between them and the big proprietary APIs like GPT-4o. That gap has all but disappeared.
And this quote here really hits on a massive shift in what we expect from these AIs. It's not just about a friendly chat anymore. More and more, we prefer the models that can actually show their work. The ones that demonstrate a clear, logical thought process behind their answers.
Which brings us right to our next test, pure logic and math. And this is where things get really interesting. On benchmarks that test things like grade school math problems, the biggest open models aren't just catching up. I mean, check this out. Meta's Llama 3.1405B actually scores higher than their reported score for GPT-4o. That is a huge deal. The top open models are officially playing in the big leagues now.
And then we get to coding. And the performance of these specialized models is just staggering. Just look at this number. On the standard human eval benchmark, which basically tests if a model can write working code from a prompt, DeepSeek Coder V2 gets it right on the very first try over 90% of the time. 90%?
And this leads us to what is maybe the most important takeaway of this whole section. If your main goal is coding, a specialized model is almost always your best bet. The data here is just crystal clear. A model like Qwen's 32 billion parameter coder, which was trained specifically on code, just blows away even much larger general-purpose models when it comes to complex coding tasks.
So, okay, the performance is insane. But hold on, before you can tap into all this power, you have to face 2 pretty big real-world hurdles: the hardware and the licensing.
So when you're self-hosting, your biggest enemy is VRAM. That's video RAM. Trying to run a big 70 billion parameter model at full quality needs over 160 gigs of VRAM. We're talking hardware that's way out of reach for most people. But this is where a little magic trick called quantization comes in. By shrinking the model down to what's called 4-bit precision, you can cut that VRAM need down to a much more manageable 40 gigs.
And right after the hardware challenge, you've got the legal one, wading through the licensing labyrinth. The rules are all over the place. They range from the truly open Apache 2.0 license, which is what Mistral and some Qwen models use, all the way to custom deals like Meta's. Their license says if you hit 700 million monthly users, which, hey, great problem to have, you need to call them up and work out a special agreement.
And look, this isn't just some minor detail in the fine print. Really prominent groups like the Open Source Initiative have come out and said that some of these more restrictive licenses don't actually meet the traditional definition of open source at all. It's a real point of contention and a hot debate in the community.
Okay, let's pull it all together and turn all this info into some clear, strategic advice to help you find your perfect model match.
First up, if you're a solo developer or maybe a researcher on a budget, you should focus on small, efficient models you can run on your own machine. Think a quantized Llama 3.8b, a Mistral 7b, or the specialized Qwen Cedar 7b. Now, if you're a startup or a small business building a product, you got to balance performance with legal safety. Mixtral's Apache 2.0 license is your safest bet there. Or, for best-in-class coding, go with Qwen's 32B coder. And finally, for the enterprise, where performance is absolutely everything and budget isn't the main concern, go for the biggest and the best. That's Llama 3145B for all-around power, and DeepSeek Coder V2 for just unmatched code generation.
The real question you have to ask yourself is your next big idea going to be built on an API that you're just renting, or on an AI that you truly control?
This is Lincoln McCurry. Please like and follow me. Thanks for watching.